Hi everyone, super excited today. We're gonna make takeout style egg rolls. The kind that you get at your local Chinese restaurants and the kind that actually my father taught me to make when I started in the restaurants in upstate New York. I remember in the day, we used to have this big giant 20-inch wok full of oil. You have an egg roll in one hand and the spatula in the other hand, spinning the oil and eating the egg roll. So let's get started. What kind of egg roll skins to use? You can get these at any supermarket. This happens to be Twin Dragon. And then you're gonna have scallions, your chopped shrimp, roast pork, char siu. And then the cabbage that I'm using is a Taiwanese flat cabbage, just a little bit sweeter. You can use all green cabbage, you can use all Savoy cabbage, or you can use all Taiwanese cabbage. It's okay, 8 cups. Here's the technique. You put your fingers down here, even angled a little bit so you don't have any danger of cutting your finger. And then you just slow and steady. Make sure your knife is sharp. And when you shred the cabbage, you just make sure that you get it in the same size. And here you have this little stem nub that you want to cut off. If you don't want that, that's bitter. So now you have your shredded cabbage. We'll add that. So celery, a lot of people I know don't like celery, but it's a traditional ingredient and it's a little aromatic. You want to cut them in half lengthwise so you get smaller pieces. Even at the base, if they're bigger, cut them in half a little bit and you just cut them into the thin pieces. Beautiful thing about this cleaver, look at that. Now, I've weighed these carrots. Again, it's about 2 cups. Okay, put this aside. Now this is a little bit more challenging if you're not used to cutting carrots. So cut off one side so you have a flat side to sit on. Slice this. And then you just lay this over and then you just shred them. Here you got some julienne carrots. If you're not used to this, you may want to use the food processor to shred this or use the mandolin. We're at the wok here. I've got my spider here. The water's boiling. And then I'm gonna pour these vegetables. This is gonna take 3 to 6 minutes. The idea is that you want this to come back up to a simmer. What I'm gonna do here is just move the vegetables around a little bit from the edges to the center. At least if you're using a wok, the hot spots are at the edge. By the way, this spider is a great tool. I mean, we don't use this often, honestly, but in this case, it's perfect application. This has been about 4 or 5 minutes now. It's starting to come to a simmer. So that's about what you want it to be, about 4 or 5 minutes. You want the vegetables to be cooked tender. So what I'm gonna do here, got some ice, because I really want this to stop cooking quickly. I'm gonna shut it off. I'm gonna start scooping this out. Make sure you scoop the water out right onto the ice so it cools off quickly. And off to the sink we go. So here we are at the sink. I want this cold water because we don't want it to overcook. So next, I'm gonna use a big colander and I'm just gonna pour everything into the colander. All right. So you do need, it's convenient to have 2 bowls, these little ears. So now all the water is going to drip down in the bowl. We're going to take this, we have to get all the water squeezed out of this. So we'll take some manageable portions in here, wrap this up in a cheesecloth. And I remember at the restaurant, we used to put it in a big giant colander and we used to pile cutting boards on it. But with this cheesecloth, this colander, I have it suspended. So just squeeze. You can even twist like you're wringing out a cloth. That's pretty good right there. So now you just take this, just drop this, and you can see it's nice and dry, and we'll expand it later. So now you repeat the process until you go through all of your filling. So you can imagine why a lot of restaurants, even today, they buy this filling pre-made. It is quite laborious. There's a lot of chopping, but in my opinion, this is much better if you make it from scratch. It's much fresher, but I think it's kind of a lost art in restaurants. People don't even want to bother with it. Quite frankly, you can actually tell by the quality of the egg rolls that you buy. They're just not quite the same. Definitely want to squeeze out all the water, otherwise the filling is going to be too wet. Your egg roll's not gonna hold together and it's gonna be a mess when you're frying. There is a lot of water. Look at this. How much water we got from that bowl. Okay, so we've got our filling here. Fluff this up a little bit, you want to. And then we're gonna add 2.5 teaspoons of salt. We use sea salt. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 1/2. Next is a tablespoon of sesame oil. Toasted sesame oil, folks. Gotta use that. 2 tablespoons of regular vegetable oil or peanut oil. Peanut oil is the best if you've got. 2 teaspoons of sugar. That's 1, that's 2. Then we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. I call for an optional 1/4 teaspoon of 5 spice. Give it a little bit of extra flavor, which is nice. And we're gonna add the roast pork, add the shrimp, about 3 scallions. Well, this is quite a bit. I'm not gonna use it all. So 1 scallion maybe, 2 scallions, and 3 scallions. You could add a little bit more if you like it oniony. And then we're just gonna mix everything together. And I say the best way to mix this is by hand. See, you still got a little few of these clumps here. You definitely want to get the clumps out because the seasonings have got to be absorbed in there. Now, when was the last time that you bit into an egg roll and you had these chunks of shrimp and big chunks of pork in it? This is why we do things at home. You can be creative once you have this base recipe, but this is the classic version. All right, we got it ready to taste this. I'm just gonna. So it's gonna taste salty and sugary because everything hasn't had a chance to incorporate yet, but it's tasty, it's perfect. Now this is the time where you want to adjust. If you want to add something to it, you can. We're making a couple of batches today. One we made according to the recipe, and one recipe update we're going to put is an optional ingredient, peanut butter. Because so many people have said, hey, how come you don't put peanut butter in it? In the Midwest, apparently, it was more common. So today, I am gonna put peanut butter in here. I don't exactly know how much to put. If I was eyeballing this, I would put 2 tablespoons.
That's it?
You think it should be more?
I think you should put at least a 1/4 cup.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. No, you don't want this, it's not a PB&J.
That's a lot of egg rolls.
All right, here we're gonna go. 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. I think this feels right to me. You wanna mix these 2 tablespoons of oil with your peanut butter. It distributes much better. So I'm a little paranoid about getting a big peanut butter chunk in here, so I'm gonna make sure I mix it right. All right, so I'm beating the egg here. The egg is gonna be what seals the egg rolls. I've got a sheet pan here onto my left where I'm gonna put the egg rolls that are done. I put this egg roll skin stacked on each other, just like that. And then I have my filling off to the side. You weigh all of your filling. And this filling, I did it in grams, 1,350 grams. I've got 20 skins. So that makes it roughly 68 grams per. What you wanna do is you wanna just take a piece like this, squeeze it together, and you've got this. Now you could put this on the scale. I think this is gonna be about 68 grams. Wow, 67 grams, not too shabby. So now you've got a feel for what 67 grams feels like. So what you do is I grab a hold of this, I try to squeeze it all together in a cohesive bunch, just like that, and I just put it right in the middle, just like that. I fold it over and just roll it slightly so it's tucked in there. Put one side down, roll it over this way. And by the way, these skins had a little bit of a chance to warm up. Shouldn't really use these cold out. So you put the other finger down, fold up, make sure this is tucked in a little bit. Take this just like that. You can use a brush if you like, but this is how we used to do it. And look, this first skin is a little bit brittle. It already broke, but this is okay because it's going to be covered. And then you set it, wrap this seam side down. Like anything else, repetition helps. I used to be amazed when my father and other chefs also would make these. They'd make these at light speed, and every single one would be exactly the same, like clones. Even in the day when we were making them for the restaurant, and they were nothing like this. This is homemade, and this is special because you're making it for yourself. Oh, see that?
Did it break?
Yeah, this broke a little bit right here. So we got this other one that we just ripped apart, right? Take a little patch here, like that. It's a small hole, it's not that bad. Just do that. And this absolutely works, folks. Yep, I'm just gonna finish making them here, but this is how you do it. All right, a lot of you guys have said, can I use an air fryer? Can I bake them in the oven? So we're gonna do a test. Now the idea of this is to use less oil, but I'm not sparing the oil over here. I'm gonna make sure everything is brushed nicely. And the question is gonna be, do these bubble up nicely like they do in the deep fry?
It quickly became clear that in addition to an even coating of oil, you have to flip the egg rolls halfway. Eventually, we nailed the right cooking time. 350 degrees for 12 minutes with one flip at the 6-minute mark did the trick. And in case you're wondering, we did try blasting them at higher temperatures to get them to be crispier, but that backfired and caused some charring and leakage. This isn't a deal breaker for the air fryer method, but it is something to be aware of.
The temperature is going to drop, so it's about 335. So we're going to fry a batch. I'm going to fry 5 at a time. We actually could fry more in this wok. See, so the temperature drops right down and it's frying right about 320 and it's going to heat up a little bit. That's kind of where you want it, actually. I'm going to adjust the temperature up slightly. What you want is this bubbling up of the egg rolls. Different brands will fry up a little bit differently. In the old days, I feel like the bubbles were smaller and they looked a lot better. But this is what we have today. It's probably been about 3 minutes. The reason why I'm not so worried about the time right now is because these egg rolls will tell you when they're done. Now what happens is that the egg rolls are cooking, the steam is building inside, and now the moisture is starting to come out. And you hear this now? You have some crackling, you see the big bubbles. That's moisture and water coming through. My father used to say to me, the egg rolls are telling you, I'm done, I'm done. When it's crackling, they're just about ready to take out. If you're gonna fry these egg rolls again, like let's say you're having a party and you wanna fry these egg rolls, you wanna take these out right now because they're light in color, and when you refry them, they'll get a little bit darker. If you're gonna eat them tonight, you fry them a little bit longer, get them a little bit darker, fry the skin through a little bit more. Now they're really making a noise. Before they were like, I think I'm done, but now they're like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, take them out. Today we're gonna make some Chinese hot mustard, which is, to some people, essential for egg rolls, for your shrimp toast, even spare ribs. I used to know people, they'd eat it and be like, whoa, clears their sinuses. First of all, start with a high quality mustard. You need a tablespoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, white pepper, 1/8 of a teaspoon, hot water, 1½ teaspoons, about 1/2 teaspoon of vegetable oil, and lastly, rice vinegar. If you don't have the rice vinegar, just use plain vinegar. You're okay. So now just stir it up. And you know, when all these spices mix together, the salt, the vinegar, and the mustard gets hydrated along with the white pepper, this looks a little thin actually. You could just let this sit and it'll thicken up, or you could just add a little bit more mustard. And it just thickens up. I'm gonna put some on my pinky. Whoa! A little bit of a pack. For me,
Spicy.
it's very spicy. For me, call me a wimp, but I would add a pinch of sugar in here. Now, anything that tastes slightly bitter, I want to add a pinch of sugar. That made it a bit nicer. Here it is. Chinese mustard. You make it at home. Taste test time. So first thing, the air fryer egg roll was brushed with oil. So it looks a little drier. You can visibly see a little bit of dryness versus the deep fried egg roll, but let's see what it tastes like. Okay. So right away, you see that the oil doesn't penetrate the skin a little bit, so it's a little dry, but still crunchy. If you're a little bit conscious about oil, a little bit lower fat, that's not bad. This one I know is a peanut butter one. I taste a little bit of the peanut butter, but it's not a lot.
Do you like it?
Honestly, I can't tell the difference. Is the peanut butter supposed to be a forward taste or not? Please comment and tell us, because here's what my theory is, like you readers out there who are eating it, who say, oh, I like the ones with the peanut butter, you must be tasting the peanut butter. The original one, I already kind of snuck one while I was cooking it. At this point, it's pretty obvious I'm having egg rolls for dinner. Okay, I get it now. This is the original. That was the peanut butter. After I tried them side by side, I take back what I said. I can't tell that. No peanut butter? Peanut butter. Really visibly you can't tell. It's hard to pinpoint. Where it's moister, it does definitely have some added oil for sure, but it's not peanut butter forward, it's subtle. This one, no peanut butter. It's lighter and it has a fresher taste. You want to try it? You try the original one. You like that mustard, don't you?
I do.
Dose of mustard. All right, I get it, guys. The duck sauce and the mustard, not bad. You saw it here on thewalksoflife.com. It's egg roll bouquet.
Yeah, maybe edible arrangements should make this.